Welcome to Nintendo Voice Chat for the week of August 11th, 2016. I'm your host, Jose Otero, and we have a special guest today. We have a lot of things to talk about, more specifically about Metroid, less specifically about Pear. I am Jose Otero. This is IGN's Nintendo Show. I'm joined by Pear Schneider.
Hello, hello.
We're joined by Brian Altano.
Hi.
And by special guest, Andre Segers of GameXplain.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Founder, editor-in-chief. Am I getting the titles right?
It's whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Okay, Sun God King founder of all games.
I'll take it, that works.
Okay,
yeah.
That's fine. So very much a group known not only for their passionate Nintendo discussions, but also for some of the best analysis videos probably on the web.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So what's the deal with this Zelda Breath of the Wild analysis? Like, the people want to know.
You had to bring that up,
yeah, right here, yeah.
It's destroying my life. You know, like usually, like we can take like a 2-minute video and we turn it into like 10, 20 minute,
30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So when they have like 8 hours of a stream about one game, it kind of complicates things a bit. So, but I can say here, it is almost done. We're finally almost ready to post it. So I haven't said this anywhere else yet, so that's your exclusive.
Oh wow!
Self-promotion for myself.
He brought us an exclusive. Yep. This is
so. Wait,
great.
how long is this video?
It's right now. So I don't have it timed out exactly. It's over an hour and 15 minutes at this point.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Nice.
Okay. It's not. Yeah, it's been.
It sounds awesome, but it's like I know what it's like to cover Nintendo when there are not a lot of Nintendo games coming out, obviously. And like, it must be nice to get that giant plate of crackers all at once.
It's funny going to E3. You're like, what are we gonna do? There's nothing here to play, like nothing to cover, and then you just it's all Zelda, and there's a ton about that game.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Fair enough. Awesome. Also, you guys have your own podcast, which is called GameXplain Real Talk Podcast. You can find that on iTunes and everywhere else. But you are listening to Nintendo Voice Chat, and you can leave us some feedback, like Brayton2000, who left us a review on iTunes, and he said, "I've been listening to this podcast for about a year now, and throughout the year, this was something I regularly look forward to at the end of the week, and still do." And he left us a ton of great feedback, which is really long. I don't want to read it all, but thank you for your devotion to your craft. Continue playing with power, because there's no play like it. So he kind of threw those two marketing slogans together. I guess I should.
I'll take it.
I'm grateful. Thank you so much. So in news, there's not a ton going on, but this past weekend, Metroid turned 30, which... You may not have noticed because nothing was really said, at least on Nintendo's side. So Nintendo's sticking to, so far, the strategy of we only promote a game anniversary when there's a game coming out with it.
Yeah.
So the original Metroid was released on August 6th, 1986, on the Japanese-only Nintendo, Famicom Disk System. Right. We talked about it on the show before. We have a great Metroid episode you should check out, but this was produced by Gunpei Yokoi. You have awesome names on that roster as well, like composer Hip Tanaka, one of my favorite video game composers of all time. And North America didn't get it until 1987 in a cartridge format, not a disc format. But I wanted to talk about our favorite sort of Metroid memories, because you can't really find that from Nintendo these days. At least they're being really quiet about
hopefully
it.
next year.
Hopefully.
Like, Metroid is one of those rare examples of a franchise that was bigger in the US than in Japan, that was Japan made, right? And so I have high hopes that they'll acknowledge its existence.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That'd be nice.
At some point,
Even a tweet.
So, I mean, is this an acknowledgement by
Birthday
Nintendo
cake.
that Federation Force doesn't count as a Metroid game if they're not even tying those two together?
Yeah,
I think it's acknowledgement that the internet hates the game.
Aw.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough. It says Metroid on the box, right?
Metroid Prime on the box.
Yeah. Now, those are two good words that go well together.
That's right. Yeah, there was a time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I look at what they've done for Super Mario. Was it the 25th or the 30th anniversary of Super Mario, where they put together the whole All-Stars package with the book and everything like that?
That was 25th.
Yeah. 25th,
last year for the 30th, they were talking more about Mario Maker.
Right, and we had Mike Drucker on talking about how he helped work on that packaging, that whole design and stuff like that. I kind of like nostalgic, celebration Nintendo, where they look back at their accomplishments, because I think that nostalgia and their legacy is one of the best things they can lean on. So when they're quiet about it, I'm like, it feels like when your friend has a birthday and he's like, don't tell anyone it's my birthday, and you're like, no, it's your birthday, we should go to the bar, and he's like, no, just don't make a big deal out of it, and you're like, but everyone loves you, we want to go celebrate, and he's like, yeah, I guess, what Jose does.
I was looking at you here going, please don't bring that up.
Well, halfway through I was like, oh, that's right.
Wait, what is this?
Well, I was going to get up in front of the room and at the editorial pit the other day and be like, hey, everyone, one last thing. It's Jose Otero's birthday.
That was a while ago. Wasn't it just last week or something?
Recently.
Yeah, okay.
And I wanted everybody to clap and cheer, but he told me specifically the day before, he's like, it's my birthday. We're going to go out to lunch together, you, me, and Pear, and make a big deal about it. I'm like, all right, fine, done.
Not to mention
It was a good lunch.
Yeah,
It was nice.
I
It was
respect
quiet.
that.
Well,
That's
so
right.
maybe you should like Nintendo's approach to Metroid.
I mean, it's sad for me
Maybe they took
because
Samus out to lunch.
no
and shot her.
Well, oh God.
One of those old shooting lunches.
We're going there. No, I mean Metroid was just such an important game for me. I mean, I feel like, of course, there's the three big titles, right, that every Nintendo fan talks about, which is Zelda, Mario, and then usually it's Metroid, unless you know someone who it's Donkey Kong, which I'm not going to shame those folks, but seriously.
No Stone Race FX. That doesn't.
Yeah, none of that. But to me, like Metroid was this thing that when I played it as a kid, completely grabbed my attention. Even though, in a lot of ways, it was really difficult. Like you didn't have a map. There was certain ideas that just I was not used to seeing in a platformer. Like the idea of just like exploring a space and it's consistent. Like think about it, Mario levels are just stages, but this one. There isn't a break in between. You're not really having any like heavy pauses except for when you're doing like some platforming.
Right.
It was very like there was no direction back then.
No, it was obtuse and labyrinthian and weird and harrowing. Like you were like, who am I? Where am I? Like why do all these tunnels look the same?
Yep.
Then you get older and you realize that they reused a lot of the same tunnels. But when you're a kid, you're like, oh, this is am I lost? I'm going in circles. I mean, the whole elevator system to go from section to section was so different than anything else they were doing at the time. And then to get off the elevator and be in this completely tonally shifted area that had almost a completely different palette and just artifacts everywhere, and the fact that it was both alien and it also felt like there was a weird history to things, like the Chozo statues and stuff. Like,
And the music.
it was
the
very
music
Giger, you know.
to the way it changed from area to area, which other games had done. But there's something about the first time you go down to like Kraid's territory, or the first time you go to Ridley's area, which also sounds really weird today because it's still that like it sounds like soda.
Yeah, it was like kind of creepy.
Yeah, no, it was really special, and so I felt like Zelda and Metroid were the two games that really informed me as a kid of what I thought of games, and it's sad to see 30 years later like them not really acknowledge it, especially when like retro gaming and nostalgia is such a big thing on Twitter and on social media. You just post a picture of a box and everyone likes it,
and it's basically founded a genre, right? Like we say Metroidvania still because those two franchises developed at the same time, like that concept of exploration and the item gating and everything. And like it's crazy that it's not celebrated more. But what was your favorite memory? Like I'm trying to figure this out. Is it playing the original, or is it later, like a Metroid Prime one?
I have several. The shortest one I would say is that I used to carry the Metroid manual everywhere.
Aww.
Like the little gray silver cover manual everywhere. I think it was under my pillow, like at night, because I was this obsessed with that world.
Were you hoping for Samus to visit you at night?
I don't know. I wasn't the Tooth Fairy. So wake up, there's a Metroid. No, you know how kids are. They get really attached to things. Metroid was this game I got really attached to, and just turning it on and listening to the music always just blew my mind as a kid. Because I felt like other games didn't sound anything like it.
That's true.
But the one that, from a more adult perspective, not that kind of adult, would be when I got Metroid Prime.
Right.
I will never forget the lead-up coverage, reading in like reviews in like Electronic Gaming Monthly, and just hearing it is every bit as good as you hope it will be. And then the minute I fired it up, heard that amazing music, saw how Nintendo got the first-person perspective to work, just completely blew my mind. That was one of the best weeks of gaming I think ever. When it came out.
Well, I think that game did for the Metroid franchise what Ocarina of Time did for the Zelda franchise, you know, and what Donkey Kong 64 didn't do for Donkey Kong. There was something just incredible about playing that game, and I think even right down to the visor effects for its time were like, and even walking into Phendrana for the first time, everyone remembers that moment of like just being surrounded by that ice and that desolation and being
the
like,
music's so good.
And especially because you came out of this like weird craggy tunnel and it was dark and gross, and then everything opened up and it was just, you heard those like kind of fluttering piano keys, and it was just such a cool thing.
What about you, Andre?
Yeah, I mean, Metroid Prime for me as well. I was actually late to Metroid, in that Metroid Prime was basically my first Metroid game that I actually finished. I played other ones like in passing at friends' houses or whatnot. So Metroid Prime did stand out to me as being my personal favorite. I've since gone back and played Super Metroid, the GBA remake of the original Zero Mission.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And started Fusion. I'm working my way through that slowly. But I think you hit on something there with Metroid Prime, like really doing a great job updating that game from 2D to 3D. I would say it's actually more true to the original games than either Mario or Zelda were at that point when they were introduced to 3D. I actually wrote an article about this on IGN back in the day about how several franchises going from 2D to 3D. But yeah, Metroid Prime, like that for me, like I just remember like it was a very moody, very atmospheric experience, and I think it holds up to this day. Like I can go back, replay that, and it's still a brilliant experience.
That game was like it was good against all odds, right? We talked a little bit about the development history and like the team that made the forgettable Our Marines, right? Working on bringing Metroid back, and my favorite memories we also discussed in the past, like us telling the world that it was going to be a first-person perspective game and trying to like we knew everybody's going to lose their crap over it, and like us trying to like temper the message, saying like, but it's not supposed to be an FPS like the others, so we're like it's an FPA. It's an FBA, like just that feedback. Like there was so much love for the franchise, but people also didn't want anything new. They wanted Super Metroid again and again and again. And so when Metroid Prime turned it into a first-person game, there was a lot of resistance.
Well, especially because when they first showed off the game of Space World or a demo reel of it, it was a third-person perspective.
Yeah. I think the idea of first of all, I think you totally nailed it in that. Making a game from 2D to 3D in the way like Super Mario World went to Mario 64, you gained a lot, but you also did lose a lot. Like it's just not a direct one-to-one. But you're so right in that Metroid Prime really does feel like the classic Metroid games, in that there's even like morph ball segments and sections that are specifically tuned for that. Item upgrades feel just as good in 3D as they do in 2D. Yeah. It was also like in terms of first-person platforming games, which a bunch of games had tried and continue to try. Turok just couldn't get it right.
See where to land.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 was the other one. You'd just be like,
you just never really had that problem with Metroid, and it was doing so many intelligent things with a system like that.
Yeah, they had the boost jump and like slightly the camera dips down when you jump. So
it felt right. There was a good weight to it. Also, I think what it did with the doors. How it masked loading is one of the smartest things I've seen a game do.
It did lead to moments where you're like, damn, door open.
Oh my gosh, door.
It made you think like, oh, there's like the space door stuck, like a door in real life would get stuck.
It should have sputtered and stuff. But there were a couple of things like the morph ball. I think a lot of people take for granted what it actually added to morph ball control. Like all the magnetic rail stuff was not in the original. Right? Like the morph ball was used to get into small spaces or jump on a Chozo statue and get something. But like that was they added so much cool stuff. The half pipe stuff, remember that?
Physics. It was fun to be a morph ball in that game. Whereas in Super Metroid, it's like, okay, I'm a morph ball now.
But the credit to Retro for not just figuring out, let's add physics to this and make it more interesting, but it was also about like every tiny detail they can sort of squeeze in, from reflections in the visor to like moisture buildup. Like those were things that I feel most first-person shooters, at least on console, I don't want to make the claim that any, because you never know what's on PC ever. Like at least I didn't. I'm not a PC gamer.
We're Nintendo fans.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things that you just, when you first saw it, you were like, holy cow, the level of immersion, like it almost felt like your TV was that window into this space, just like the visor screen is meant to be. And it's something that few games get right.
And games like Time Splitters and Duke Nukem, they played with scale, and like your character shrunk or it got bigger. But in this, it kicked into third person for morph ball mode, and you saw Samus. Like every time you hit that button, you saw Samus like unfurl back into the character she was. And there was something really satisfying about that, about getting reminded constantly that you were still that awesome intergalactic bounty hunter.
They avoided that cipher problem like a game of Call of Duty has, where you're like, oh, I know who I was just because my character just died in the middle of the story, but I don't feel anything,
Yeah, but that's something to credit to like Bungie doing as well, where like anytime you entered a Warthog, the camera will pull back to be able to show you, okay, different control or similar like controls, but it's more about like getting around at this point. Like let's switch this up. And I've always appreciated that about Metroid.
But my favorite memory kind of playing the game, obviously discovering Metroid Prime was just, we were just on a high the entire time. Like the moment we got to play it in a darkened room at E3, we just walked out and we're like, man, why is this so good?
I'm surprised they let you in after that scoop that you put on the internet.
That's right.
The props to Nintendo for not holding a grudge.
Well, it was very close to the show. We actually did, we broke something on Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and we published something like just a couple of days before we were invited to the Lucas Ranch and the studio, and they were so pissed at us. Like,
did they not let you in?
Oh, they wanted to cancel the appointment, then they let us in, and we just it was like being called to the principal's office. But with Nintendo, it was not like that. They were like, yeah, thanks for the scoop, and let's play the game. But no, my favorite memory, like memory, I played Super Metroid before I played the original Metroid. And so Super Metroid was the first time I was exposed to the Metroid franchise on the Super Famicom in Japanese. And what struck me was you get a sense that you know this world, you traverse all these areas over and over. There's certain doors you can't open. You're like, I know I need to get something to open it. Sometimes you get that metal-looking dead door. You're like, well, what the hell do you do, right? But running through that glass pipe over and over, and then figuring out that you can use a big bomb to blow it up, and you get out into the water. That was mind-boggling.
I had that recently when I played the game.
Yeah.
What do I was like running for like 3 hours. Like, what do I do?
Yeah, but then you feel so smart, and you like for a moment you feel like you're the only person who knows.
Yeah.
And the same with the scanner, the visor where you can find holes in the walls. Like the moment you realize there's been an opening there the whole time, and you've just been an idiot for never going over there.
Yep.
Like you feel like you get this amazing discovery moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, I was a lot like you, Jose, growing up in that I was really big into the original Metroid. Even though, if we're going to be completely honest, it's one of the games, that and Metroid 2 for Game Boy, have the ones that they've aged not as well as the others, and because they're, like we said, they're obtuse, and they're games that really do need a map system. But I enjoyed the hell out of them. I loved putting in the code to have just playing as Samus without the whole costume and everything like that. And just exploring that game was great. So when Zero Mission came out and I got a chance to revisit that game, it was incredibly special because I think that we spend much of our adult lives reminiscing with nostalgia over things we remember to be better than they actually were. And Zero Mission was better than it actually was. Like, it was a great way of taking something that was good but not great, that had some problems, and updating it to the year it came out, whatever year that was, or updating it to a post Super Metroid world. And it just felt so great to revisit those areas, but have new, abilities, and it just felt tighter. There was a map. It was the kind of game that I felt like I could play through a bunch of times again, and I did. And I took that game everywhere for went on 6 flights that year and just kept replaying it. Yeah. And I didn't think that Fusion was as strong, but I liked what they did with that game. But Zero Mission is pretty much the perfect Metroid game outside of Super Metroid, and game, far and away one of the best 2D platforming games ever made.
Yeah.
So Andre, you said you wrote the strategy guide for IGN for Metroid Prime 3.
That's right. Yeah.
Corruption.
Way back in the mid 2000s. So when you wrote that guide, did you still like the game, or did you get that kind of reverse Stockholm syndrome where you hate the game because you had to explore it all?
So I was always able to really separate my feelings from the guide from the game. I feel like overall. But writing guides for Metroid games is a little bit annoying. Yeah, all those power-ups everywhere. It's just a mess.
Any puzzles stand out in your mind that you're just like, oh, I cannot do this?
That was the first-person welding game, right? It had welding in it.
Too, yeah. No, they also had turning door switches. One side. I don't remember which side.
I don't remember any particular puzzle, but I think just explaining where to go in a 3D Metroid environment is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Especially back then, we're using really tiny pictures. I couldn't really show the map at that point. So
That's right.
Yeah. So it was just explaining how to get around.
Well, I don't know how you pulled it off, but I want to personally say thank you because I know for sure I used that guide. I know for sure I used that guide when Metroid Prime 3 came out, and so thank you so much.
I'm happy to help. Yeah.
That game had some really confusing elements. Just as these games got bigger and bigger, I think it got more confusing. It's the Banjo-Tooie syndrome, right? Kazooie, you learn the overworld, you know where everything is. Tooie, you're like, oh my god, I'm lost. Where was this damn house again, right? And I think Metroid Prime 3 had a couple of issues like that, and it had that crazy rail system too outdoors, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it actually experimented a lot with verticality more than pretty much any other Metroid
game. Especially that last area, the one where you find the sky. Is it in the sky?
That's almost basically just a series of overhead roller coasters that are all interconnected. I have no idea how you explain that in the guide.
I don't remember how I did it either.
Well, it's still on our site, so you can go back and read it. But that was a really cool game. I mean, I think people were bummed out because it had. There were a lot of NPCs with voice acting and stuff like that.
And it's not well done. It's not good. Remember me?
Yeah, it's not good voice acting. Yeah. But I think once you get away from all that stuff, there's a really awesome Metroid game there. Yeah. And I think 2 is the one I keep wanting to go back and
2
finish.
makes you feel bad. That's the issue, right? 2 has the poisonous world,
Yeah.
right? And like I never like games where you're spending a lot of time in a place that makes you feel bad.
Where you're punished for existing.
Yeah.
There's a
It's-
sense of urgency there that
like-
it either makes or breaks that experience, if done right or wrong.
Link to the Past, the Dark World is cool, right? You're like, oh my god, it's like a bizarro version of this world, but you're not losing health while you're walking around, and that's unfortunately what happened.
Well, it's weird. It
Prime 2.
reminds me a lot of the original Star Wars trilogy, because people have talked about...
What?
No, hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out.
wait.
No, so Empire Strikes Back, the second movie, didn't get as many people returning to see it over and over because it wasn't really a feel-good film.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas A New Hope and Jedi are just like fun adventures you can go on, and people are like, I want to keep going back.
They kind of end the same way too. But
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, exactly.
It's always been my beef with Jedi. Is just it ends like the first Star
Yep.
Wars.
Well, just like
Death
Metroid
Star.
Prime. In your face, pair.
There you go. But speaking of just, this series in general and this anniversary, which again, sadly, Nintendo chose not to get involved or tweet or say much about it, fans took it upon themselves to make something happen. And in fact, a long-awaited fan project called Project AM2R, AM2R stands for Another Metroid 2 Remake, came out that day. But sadly, by Sunday, like midday,
they can be fast when they want to be.
Nintendo Legal served DMCAs asking file hosting sites to take it down. That is in violation of copyright. And Nintendo got legal. Now, this is a sad story simply because these fans have been passionately making this game for many years now. This has been something that I feel like even when the Mother 3 fan translation was under works, this thing was getting worked on. And to see it finally come out was really cool. To see it get brought down was very sad, but why don't you put more context to this, because it is easy to feel outraged over this, but what is Nintendo's stance?
Well, it's tough. I mean, when you're a copyright holder, you need to enforce your copyright, right? Otherwise, it will be much more difficult to defend against other more egregious violations, right? Let's say a company abroad releases Pokemon on the App Store and Apple lets it through, right? Like, unless you defend the rights, and in this case, it would be the Pokemon company, not Nintendo doing that, unless you defend your rights and show that you keep doing it, it's much, much more difficult to do it on a one-off. And so if they let one Metroid fan project slide, when there's something more serious, they might have an issue. So that said, though, there's got to be a solution, right? Like working with these guys at a time where there's a complete absence of beloved Metroid titles, let's put it that way. This should be a gift from heaven, like having a project like this.
Well, especially because in these days you read a lot about games that have a very kind of robust, passionate modding community, and you read stories all the time about those modders being elevated to sort of professional status. And getting jobs at that company, modders getting jobs at Blizzard or Bethesda or whatever it is, Valve, yeah, for sure. That's a great example. So then they weren't charging money for this game.
No, it's free.
So that's why it's always weird to me, because I look at, if you were to make a Metroid fan film, which a company did, and actually Jessica Chobot was in it, former IGN, right. Or if I was to make like a bunch of drawings and put them on DeviantArt, like those stay forever. But it's games specifically that Nintendo takes down.
Well, in this case, though, it's also a remake of an existing project.
Yeah. So you think that's what it is?
Yeah, and it's not commercialized per se, but it's like it generates value, right, for the creators. Like either people saying that was awesome, here's a job, right, or traffic and it could lead to something else. So it's tough to make that argument.
But is it specifically because it's playable? Because if that guy had made that game and made a video of it and put it on YouTube, would Nintendo take that video down?
No,
because then it's fan art, right?
Would have been fine. Like, I think that's specifically it. It duplicates. It used the franchise. It used the characters. It used the name. It uses the music, right? And then it uses the copyrighted kind of game data, like the setup of a map and the gameplay elements and stuff. And that's, again, like that's where companies want to enforce the law, make sure that they have a case when something more serious comes around. Then Nintendo's not sitting there going like, oh, this guy is going to ruin our business, right? People are never going to play a Metroid game anymore. And it's not like people are buying Metroid 2.
Well, they would if they had remade it, right?
Yeah.
Like if they gave Metroid 2 the zero mission treatment, I'd be all over it. But it doesn't seem like they had plans for that. So right now it kind of feels like they walked in a room and somebody was making dinner and they're like, "Oh, we ordered a pizza. Don't worry, it's on its way."
Well, and they didn't do what Capcom did with Mega Man a few years ago, which is another example of an IP that has sort of just fallen to the wayside, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I believe Mega Man was celebrating its 25th anniversary, unless I'm getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And apparently someone approached Capcom with a Street Fighter crossover for Mega Man. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And Capcom sanctioned it. Capcom said, sure, we'll distribute it. This is cool. I can't remember if you had to pay for it, which is unfortunate, but just the idea that they went along with it and they allowed that thing to exist, and it was a cool crossover.
They did the same thing for the what was it, the Legacy collection that came out recently, where there were fan-made elements in it that it had come together.
Yeah,
like
they let
the emulation system.
They let the developer basically try new things with it, like remix levels and whatnot, which is not typical.
And to be fair, I mean, if you look around, like search the internet, you're going to find a lot of fan projects that relate to Nintendo content, right? Like monetized or otherwise. Like if Nintendo really wanted to take on everyone, they would just spend weeks on Etsy, for example, right? And like, and I don't think that's what it's about.
The shirt even I'm wearing.
That's
Blue
right.
Doom. I like it.
He's wearing a Blue Moon shirt, but it has the Majora's Mask moon.
I really like that shirt because it took me a minute to. That's a great shirt.
I didn't notice
It's weird. I didn't read it. I thought it was just a Blue Moon shirt. I was like, oh, okay.
And but like, look, we of course selfishly I want to play this game, and I thought the team did a really cool job, and it is one of the weaker Metroid games elevated to actually be better and
to
be
a better
cool.
standard.
And so my hope is that at least Nintendo saw it. That much we know, and maybe there's something they can work out if it's at all possible to transfer this code to another machine and make it Nintendo sanctioned. Then awesome.
A little bit like Sonic Mania, right? That's being made by a bunch of Sonic fans.
Yeah.
But I will say, to Nintendo's credit, if you want to put it this way, this project has been in the works for a long time, as you mentioned. They should have been able to theoretically shut this down at any point in the last 6 years. They haven't. It was released. And once something's out on the internet, you can't rebottle that. So this is like just going by the letter of the law. But if you want to play this game, it's easy enough to...
You'll find it.
Fans started torrents for it, so you could absolutely find that.
And I don't think they go after people to download it, right? Like if you pirate an HBO movie or an HBO show, HBO will go after you, right? Like they will go to the IPs, ISPs, and like they will absolutely. They monitor for that kind of stuff. They enforce the law down to the consumer level, not just a fan level, project level. But I don't think Nintendo goes after fans for this.
No, for sure.
Or I don't think they'd even consider finding the team that made it.
Right.
It's more about flexing their muscle and enforcing the copyright.
One of the developers involved in it, who on Twitter I believe goes by the name Dr. M64, was basically asking fans not to take it out on Nintendo, that they have every right to protect that copyright. So, if you are upset by this news, we're just as sad as you are. I mean, I got to play it. I'm assuming you did. What you think?
I've only played a little bit.
Same.
They did a great job updating it. It's like it's almost a Nintendo caliber game, and it's done by a small team. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, I went back and played Return of Samus, and I was really surprised by how well everything lines up, even though you can say that the scale has changed so much, where the Samus sprite on the Game Boy was enormous.
It was like half the screen.
Huge.
Yeah.
It was something else, and you didn't have a map in that version either, but you did have save statues, which thank God, because the one thing we didn't talk about with the original Metroid was that awful password system, and that always comes up in every conversation.
Yeah.
Because zeros look like O's, and you didn't have to worry about it back then. But I agree. Really good sprite artwork. Very true to the original designs, even though when you look at the original designs themselves, they're a bit hokey and weird, right? Like several look like Pokemon to me. I swear, there's this owl-looking H shape that goes back and forth. I'm just like, oh, that's a thing. But
was it made by a different team or something? It's not like Super Mario Brothers USA or anything, right?
I believe that's R&D 1. That was a Gunpei Yokoi joint, I believe. He oversaw that game, and R&D 1 did Super Mario Land.
So the difference in design were mostly motivated by the Game Boy screen and wanting something that looks more unique and different on a smaller screen.
I think so, yeah. Although that didn't translate at all to the level design, which was completely similar and no matter where you went and everything. That was a very tough game to play back in the day, especially on the original puke green Game Boy.
And given the fact you can't see much around your character,
Yeah.
and there are no backgrounds in that game, as I recall.
Yeah, no, there's no background, so you don't really know where you are ever, or if you're backtracking. And the entire game it's different than most Metroid games because it is about hunting. It's about traveling all over this map and just take. It's not about like defeat this boss
specifically. Because it was the Aliens 2 to Metroid's Alien. It was like Ripley going down to wipe out everything on LV. What is it? Whatever. But it's SR 388. I don't remember. But you guys get the idea. Oh, right. Fair enough. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about a new NX rumor that happened today, apparently, and this thing's gonna blow some people's minds. We'll be right back.
Listen.
And welcome back. Jose Otero here with Per Schneider, Brian Altano,
Hi,
and Andre Segers.
How's it going?
And today, I don't know if this is NS Das Hype material or not, which is just the silly thing we say when something exciting is related to an NX, those two letters. So a patent was discovered today that Nintendo filed for clip-on controllers, and similar to at least what's been going around about NX, specifically Eurogamer's rumor a few weeks ago. So this was found by, I believe, sleuthy friends over at NeoGath, and the patent shows a controller, add-ons that clip onto the sides of a portable device.
Yep.
Now, it's a little unclear to me, certain parts of this, but I'm just going to give you the summary. These peripherals won't work through electrical signals. They apparently use infrared to detect button presses. Brian's face is slowly contorting in a way that you will not believe.
Wait, what?
Well, they've done that before with a 3DS shell.
Talk about this.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the giant controller shell. I used the IR port to connect to the 3DS, but there was no other way to connect.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there's no
that's
physical
right.
port.
The boat, we called it?
Yeah, the boat.
Yeah, the boat.
The boat.
The boat was IR controlled.
Wow.
Okay, so another thing on the boat. A camera in the portable housing will be able to sense default and depress positions for the buttons. That's how that would work. Each of the surface buttons would be connected to a piece that has a bit that can be detected by the infrared camera. Apparently, that's how those two come together. And finally, different positions sensed by the camera would then be translated into inputs similar to how a standard circuit-based controller could work. The thing that is unclear to me is, there's plenty, but when it mentions a portable device, this does not in any way to me spell out if they mean a phone or they mean a future like a different platform altogether. And so that's where my biggest questions come from. Because couldn't you clip those onto the edge of your phone and just get it moving? Or is that
you could,
not?
but the IR thing is revealing, I think.
That's
Good
the
point.
thing. Like the IR, that's why this almost sounds like it's for the 3DS or a device where there was a limitation to do a controller add-on rather than a new device. Because what this also means is that when they're not clipped on, these things are useless. Because think about it, you would if it was a regular controller that you attach, which is one of the concepts for the NX, right? It would have Bluetooth or some other means of syncing with your console. IR, you're not going to be able to.
Could you forget those terrible 90s controllers that were IR?
Yeah. You're not gonna, nobody makes a console with IR controllers nowadays.
I know, but rewind. But this is a stupid thing, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Would IR be less of a drain on battery than Bluetooth?
IR is the cheapest way that you can pull this off.
My watch is Bluetooth and lasts a week. So.
Yeah. But my phone isn't going to last a week with Bluetooth on though. Like just throwing that out there as an example, right? Like whenever I feel like I have a device that relies on Bluetooth, I just feel like my battery life goes even faster.
I think, the Wii remote lasted pretty long, and that was Bluetooth, right?
True.
Except for the sensor bar.
Yes, that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is new? This is newly filed or filed a while ago? Because it sounds to me, it sounds more like some other. Please don't be for NX.
No, I love it.
This sounds more like the boat.
Well, the patent drawings are terrible, but Brian loves patent. So this was filed. This says January 29th, 2016. That's what it says.
And it just surfaced today?
Yeah, published August 11th, 2016.
It can also be like, think of the Pokewalker kind of add-on concept or something where you could connect it to an NX tablet.
I just feel like I've gone to crazy town, so we don't want this, right? Like we're all secretly helping. I don't know what this is.
To me, this sounds like the cheapest possible tech you could do for controlling a device, like with detachable controllers. Almost like, you know, what I'd expect from an NES Classic, like a little thing you pick up at Walmart or Target at the cash register, like something simpler like that.
Also, patents always look like a courtroom artist drew a famous person.
Yeah.
You're like,
true.
that's not Michael Jackson.
No, the photo's not really
Especially
good.
if you go back and look at the ones for like the Wii and the Wii U. Like the Wii is like this weird flat rectangle with all this crap coming off the side. Same with the Wii U. It's always this big blocky object. So this looks like a big, ugly, blocky thing, but I have a feeling when it's all said and done, there'll be something a little more ergonomic.
Well, for sure, the drawings are never drawn to like exact specifications.
Yeah, especially
it never
for something
looks
that
ergonomic.
wasn't out at the time. Yeah,
But you gotta ask, right? Like, let's say this is NX. Why wouldn't they design the thing with ports for the controlers or something else? Like, why would it have to be like that? That seems really strange.
Well, especially because the rumor
What a
that
mystery.
we had heard too. Well, I mean, the Eurogamer's rumor said they clip off. We all been talking about that, but when we had heard that. Back when we heard it, we heard that those two pieces will come together to sort of form a controller for you to hold, essentially. We never got another source to back that up, so we didn't run that story.
Right.
But that was something that we were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It was also a secondhand source, just putting that out there for folks.
Well, maybe
We
the
are
left
bemused.
side of that controller has a stick and has the battery and everything, and the right side is only kinetic energy and
No, because then
then
one side will be heavier than the other. That's
Yeah.
going to throw everybody
You know
off.
what? If this comes out, Brian, I'll give you mine. You can have mine.
Oh, thanks. And I'll give you the other one of mine so you can have a matching set too.
And then I'm going to clip them to your belt.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, I want to scare people away forever.
So all the other kids beat you up. Look, I mean, mysteries, right? There's so many patents. If you go back into Nintendo's patent filings, you'll find lots of stuff that never came out. And sometimes they have a funny idea or a cool idea and they patent it.
I mean, they had that like ball-shaped controller with a win button on it at some point, right? Like, yeah, just Google Nintendo patent like on your phone right now or on your laptop or whatever. You'll see just a bunch of really weird drawings that never really came to life. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, in other news.
Can't wait.
Yes. So Nintendo discounted a bunch of Wii U and 3DS games, announced a few bundles. We're just going to go over them quickly. So starting August 26th, permanent price changes down to $20. The list is Wind Waker HD,
Buy it.
Animal Crossing New Leaf. Oh yeah, let's do it. Gross or great. So Wind Waker HD, gross, great.
Buy it.
We all agree,
Great.
great game. All right, New Leaf, Animal Crossing New Leaf, great. Absolutely, we all agree. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
I really like that game.
It's good.
Yeah.
I don't want to say great.
Okay, we got
I think it's good.
Yeah.
And we got.
I like that game a lot. Great.
Okay, fair enough. I liked it too, but I didn't finish it. But I do like.
$20 is a good deal, though.
Fair enough.
It's a meaty game. It's not short like the first one.
This next one's gonna be great. Nintendogs plus cats, golden retriever, and new friends.
Gross.
Yeah.
Wait, so didn't they make 3 versions of that game? It was only the Golden Retrievers on the discount?
Apparently, yeah.
They don't
All right.
want multiple SKUs out
The
there.
rest of the,
It's America's favorite dog, man.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Why do I
I
sound
like-
like Bane?
I don't know. I like that subtitle better. Nintendogs. It's America's favorite dog, man.
Great. Lego City
Great.
Undercover, The Chase Begins. This is the 3DS game. Oh, God.
We can't do this now.
All right, fine. In the voice that these two will listen to, Lego City Undercover, The Chase Begins.
Did you call it Lego? Okay, I heard Lego.
No, this is the 3DS version. The 3DS
The
version.
3DS version is not. 3DS version is not great.
no.
Will you stop? Damn it. But the Wii U version is. The Wii U version is really
Wii U
fun.
version is a fun little.
Both of them have
Lego game.
horrendous load times, but if you can get past that.
Even the 3DS one.
Oh, the 3DS
Wow.
one, it's yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that makes the Wii U version so charming is that it's a full Lego GTA basically.
Yeah.
It's Lego GTA for kids, but the 3DS version has basically there's no life in that world, so
Yeah.
it's not nearly as fun.
It's yeah, no. If you're old enough to have a kid, definitely go for the Wii U version, and then. Kids are pretty resilient to crappy software too.
Yeah.
Like they'll enjoy the 3DS one too.
That's true.
My nephew used to do that.
Yeah.
Just what I always wanted. I'd be
Yeah.
like, really? You
That's
wanted
it?
socks? Like, that's it?
That's so cute.
Hey, admire that kid's optimism because we don't know how long it'll be there.
It's gone. He's 15.
Oh, well, there it is.
Tomodachi Life.
Yeah,
I like this game.
It's
I don't think this
Nah,
game's. Okay,
I'm bored.
Let's see how many sentence fragments in a row we can say.
We just set a record.
What is Mitomo?
Okay, no, Tomodachi Life was fun because a bunch of us were all...
Tomodachi Life?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I saying that fake Japanese word wrong?
Tomodachi is a word in Japanese.
I'm an Italian kid from New Jersey.
Tomodachi?
Tomodachi Life.
There we go.
Don't tease Mario.
Oh my god. It was fun because we were all playing it at the same time.
Yep.
Yes.
When you remove that social element from it, which you absolutely will by buying it 3 years after it came out, it's not as fun. You won't get a... Yeah. Word. You won't, I don't think you're going to get $20 worth of enjoyment out of that. No. And like you guys said, Mitomo's there. So just play that.
I think it's more enjoyable than Mitomo. That's
of course.
my problem. I think Mitomo hangs on to the question aspect of it and loses some of the zaniness that the game does well. Like, it is sort of just this ant farm of your friends is the idea. Yeah. And if you find enjoyment in that, that's the cool part. And I did. I mean, you'd see funny things happen that you wouldn't expect. I wouldn't say it's a gamer's game, but I would say it is, if you're open to something that's very offbeat and weird, give this a shot.
But see, like, there are other options out there. If you're gonna spend a couple of bucks more, get Fantasy Life or something.
Just get Animal Crossing. They're the same price.
Yeah, Animal Crossing is the deeper version.
Animal Crossing will give you everything Mitomo's doing, or Tomodachi Life.
Nicely done.
You made it.
Well, Mitomo, like I still check Mitomo every day, and I have as much fun doing that as I do.
Wow. You just want the coins, bro.
I don't even get more than those.
You just want tickets to play the Mario slot machine. I know this.
No, it was. I think I said this recently, but like the definition of insanity is checking Mitomo every day and expecting results.
Yeah.
Like I have as much fun doing that as I do cleaning out my junk mail. But I still have to do it every now and then.
Well, that was good. All right, next one. We already said Wind Waker. I don't know why I have it on here twice.
It's worth being on twice.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Get it twice.
Buy it twice.
Fantastic game. Nintendo Land.
Oh, I like that game.
That's great.
I like that game.
I think it should have been $20 from the start.
Yeah,
right?
That's true,
It's so weird to me that game is still not available digitally in some form. And
Really?
I guess, it's not. It is retail only. Full
Why?
life.
You know what? The issue with that game is that you need a lot of controllers. You need a lot of controllers, a lot of different
Oh,
controllers.
so you're just going to go to Best Buy, you'll get the controllers in the game. You'll pray that the Best Buy guy tells
Because
you
otherwise
something.
somebody downloads it and goes, "No, can't play anything with their kids." You know?
Okay.
Yeah. The Mario Chase stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
When you this is a great
Luigi's
party
Mansion.
and drinking game. Honestly.
Yep.
Something the F-Zero minigame makes me sad, especially since there still hasn't been any life sign of
The
that.
Metroid minigame made me sad.
Oh yeah, that was rough. If you're
I
not
love that one.
really,
Oh, no.
I like that one too.
No,
was a
let
fun
him
shooter.
speak. What? Why?
I thought it was great. Like, Nintendo finally made a shooter, like a true shooter experience.
that's true. Yeah,
And
there was.
I had a
shooting
blast
in
with
it.
it. I actually did. So I actually didn't like the ship controls.
Yeah, being the
Yeah.
gamepad person, you were
That
the
was
guy
like-
having the least fun. Whereas every other minigame, I felt like if you were the gamepad
Yeah.
person, you were going to town.
But if you played
That's because you guys aren't good at it. No, like there was a learning curve. Basically,
yeah.
this was the most complicated control scheme you could
There
pick
is no
for the
learning
device.
curve when you're taking out your kids with the Samus Aran spaceship. That's what you were doing.
Oh, I was doing that.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were
it wasn't
doing.
also hanging on to
They
the
get
spaceship
mad.
as a person, like
was
being
cool.
flown around.
Yeah.
Jose,
Absolutely.
it's pronounced Samus Aran.
Don't use my joke on me. So last one we already said, but Lego City Undercover, great game, right? We all agree. All right. Lastly, there were some bundles. Yoshi Woolly World. There's a pink and a blue yarn Yoshi. They're like $40 each. Captain Toad has a bundle, and Mario Party has a Bowser and a Peach bundle.
Captain
Gross.
Toad is a good game.
Oh yeah, Mario Party, gross. He said it.
But Captain Toad,
great.
yeah. Get
Captain
it.
Toad, absolutely.
That's the every amiibo must go out of our factory bundles.
What about Yoshi's Woolly World? Great or gross?
I
like that game. Yeah.
It's good.
I'm mad on that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I
It's
feel you.
very easy, right? It's
Yeah.
a very kind of it kind of flies by.
I like it a hell of a lot more than Yoshi's Story. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really saying anything,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get going.
Yeah.
And once it does, it gets really creative about halfway through to 3/4 of the way
Yeah,
on.
I love the extra stages because they do some crazy ideas. Like there's one where you're hanging onto a shower curtain for like
Yeah.
dear life or something. I
Actually,
remember
that's
that.
one of the games where I really appreciate the amiibo functionality. It's cool scanning an amiibo and getting like a Sonic amiibo and a Mario amiibo, and
it
they're
works
just
with most of them.
they're Yoshi's. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
works with everyone except Pokemon, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The color schemes are really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you
Yeah,
scan,
yeah,
it's
no,
awesome.
absolutely.
Some of them
Okay.
are terrifying.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So then, lastly, or maybe not lastly, we might have room for some question block questions, but we have been building a SNES Classic with guests on our show, and Andre, you have been summoned to give us your 5 choices.
I was excited when I heard about this. This is a fun project. Okay, so I need to explain these two, right?
You do need to explain these. So first of all, are you going to snub anyone potentially?
I want to, but I'm going to hold off on snubbing.
Okay.
I think we'll get into this maybe. I don't know if we are.
Okay, let's lead off then with, hang on, let's sum up the list to date.
Exactly.
So Jeff Gerstmann came in and said ActRaiser, Contra 3, Alien Wars, Super Mario World, Zelda: A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid should absolutely be on the SNES Classic. We all agreed.
Perfect list.
Then Jared Petty came along and snubbed Super Mario World and added
petty of him.
What?
and added Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World.
That's
Yeah, he
cheap.
cheated.
Now this is under debate. Is
I
this
want more
cheating or
wishes
not?
as my third wish.
I think it's cheating because it wasn't part of the game cartridge code.
Okay.
Like, that's a pack-in. That's like, I got the Super Costco bundle with the N64 and 14 cartridges and putting that on the list.
Yeah, but it was one cartridge. It was a
part of it.
package.
It was one?
a
Okay,
thing.
then fine.
It was
And
one.
It was
cartridge.
later on they released
All right,
it.
then it's legal.
But so for me, where I fall on this, a couple things. One, we were talking before, they changed some things about the game.
Yeah.
So it's not the purest form that we all know and grew up with.
Yeah.
Secondly, I feel like as one of the defining Super Nintendo games, it can't be hidden behind the title screen of another game.
No.
You can't access Mario All-Stars to get to Mario World. Mario World has to stand by itself.
Yes.
Wow.
I totally agree with that.
Bold
Okay,
words.
so are we
Finish the list.
So wait, are we overturning Jared's?
Hell yeah.
No, we can't overturn it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
No.
All right, we'll wait till
you
your
can
turn.
move it
Yeah.
off when
I'm
it's
friends
your
with
turn.
Jared. I'll talk to him face to face about this.
All right. Well, Jared, on top of those moves, that move, he added Chrono Trigger,
Good.
Yep.
Final Fantasy VI,
Excellent.
Yoshi's Island,
Nice.
and Star Fox.
Good man.
I do want to say, I respect where he's going from with that. It is more economical to have All-Stars and World. But
Sure.
Yeah, no, same. We all love Jared here. If you're listening and going, oh, how dare they? No, it's
But
love.
Jose, the rule was he had to remove one, right?
No, you could.
Oh, you could. Okay.
You could. You
So
can
he
use
was
one
just
of your
being a punk.
choices to snub someone else's,
all right.
and he decided
Okay.
to, snub
But when
mine.
we get up to 25 games, is that then you have to remove things?
Still working
or-
on this plan.
Okay.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what we're doing.
Because I would kill Star Fox from that list immediately. But, that's me.
The best one? That's, wow. That's
Really?
hard,
Oh,
yeah.
man, I still love Star Fox 64 the
Yeah.
That
best.
was good too. I like
Yeah,
that as well.
All
All
right.
right, well, let's hear what Andre's going to do.
Okay, all right, well, here we go. So, these aren't in any particular order, but
We'll start with one and tell us why, and then we'll go to the next one.
okay. So, what's better than one Kirby game is 7 Kirby games in one.
You're cheating already.
You're doing the petty thing.
No, this is legit because none of these were otherwise on Super Nintendo.
Okay,
so,
okay, all right.
so Kirby Superstar, I feel like, is actually the best Kirby game ever made. In my
yeah.
opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
And it has a ton of replay value. It's a great representation of what Kirby is at his best. And it has some fun 2-player games in there too. In fact, those Kirby games are 2 players in general. So
Yeah.
it's a very fun game.
Respect, especially on the Kirby front. That is still the best Kirby game in my mind.
Is that
But
game on
now that we-
3DS?
They re-released on 3DS.
Oh, they did?
Ultra Superstar,
Okay, cool.
I think.
Something.
But now
Yeah,
that we have
okay.
Kirby on this list, that's the end of the list, right? Like,
Oh,
once the Kirby's out, you shut
know,
it
his,
down.
his-
That's it.
Oh, what happened here? I
roll
must
out
have
the-
missed an episode.
You roll out Kirby when you're done with a platform. Is pairs.
I said that no particular order.
All right,
Okay.
all right, fine.
What
Okay.
are you
All right.
doing?
All right, you get to add more then.
No, good choice.
Actually, that was a pretty
Yeah,
funny, pretty funny rule, though. Okay.
Excellent choice.
Next up, Super Mario Kart.
Okay.
That's when the series started. I think it is still might be one of the purest forms of that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's no garbage bit. You dragging that game down. It's a pure gameplay experience. It's still fun. Yeah.
And I mean,
Battle
what a battle mode.
Yeah.
Right? Like that battle mode, I put in so many hours with this game just with a friend playing in the just doing battle mode, and then of course I had the 2-player GP too, which was awesome. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a good choice. You like the Super Mario Kart?
Yeah,
right?
no,
I do, yeah.
Like set the rules from the beginning, and basically the franchise has not changed too much since. I mean, Battle Mode went away, which was a sad thing. But
Best Ghost House too, by the way.
really,
Yeah, I thought I
a really
love
good
that
one.
punishingly difficult Ghost House. Whenever it popped up, I'm like, oh no, Ghost House, and like when you fall down, it's like that death is meaningful.
interesting.
And
I
you
was-
could use the
yeah.
feather for shortcuts, which was really technical
feather.
in that one.
That is a deeper one than I guess. I really like the one in Mario Kart 8. Just not just from visual perspective because that's easy, but even that a lot of the turns are tricky and you have to start them early, otherwise you're in a lot of trouble, versus some of the other turns in the game where you get a little bit more leeway.
It's a great track, but like the Mario Kart
Also,
tracks were so technical that it was really about like you could get that track down and take the shortcuts.
Well, the most evil Rainbow Road.
That was
Which you brought back in Mario Kart 8, actually.
Yes.
And it's still evil.
And it's still evil.
It is a mean track. And like if you haven't played the game in years, you pick it back up, you'll start playing. You're like, how could I ever finish this track? It's so hard.
It's tough. Yeah. Because you can spin out too in that game if you like cornered too much. Like you would eventually.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they got rid of that over time. All right.
Okay, next up, we already have Chrono Trigger on the list, so I'll go with the, I think, second or third best RPG being Earthbound. Especially with
my hero.
I'm replaying that now on 3DS.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I love it. It's actually, it's like a stupidly good portable game, which is not what it was designed for, but it works perfect for something like that. Like I have a flight to Germany on Saturday, and you guys are both gonna be there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to put some time in that game.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Maybe I need to download it too.
What, Earthbound?
Yeah.
When was the last time you played Earthbound?
Did you play it when it
ages ago?
You didn't play it when it came to Wii U?
No.
Or
Okay.
what about Super Famicom when you were in Japan?
Yeah, I played it, but I don't remember picking it up afterwards at all. You know what? I have it on Wii U though.
Yeah.
I just didn't play it.
Okay,
It's like
fair enough.
$7.99 on 3DS.
I started. I made my son play it, saying like you got to learn all these old games and be classically trained, and then he disappeared.
Yeah,
He went to go play Minecraft.
Yeah,
I showed
exactly.
up to Earthbound late. I think I didn't play it until 2012, but it completely blew me away. It still holds up as a fantastic game. One that you don't need. Like there's some games from the 90s that you just still needed a guide for somewhat. It is not one of those games whatsoever.
It came with a guide though originally.
One of the best guides. That's right. Even watching Stranger Things recently on Netflix reminded me just the setup of like three boys and the girl in the pink dress. I was just like, this is Earthbound.
Wow,
You know what? I didn't think about it. We
Dang.
just did a bit on Up at Noon today where we talked about the things you should watch after Stranger Things, and Earthbound's a perfect one. I did not think of that.
Yeah, telekinesis and all that, like being
you're
like
right.
part of it. Yeah, that kind of adventure. Obviously, Stranger Things
Maybe
a little
it's
scarier.
a secret adaptation. Nintendo lawyers deploy.
Shut it down!
All right. Next is growing up, I always wanted to run my own business. As such, Harvest Moon really appealed to me.
Yeah.
And that's a franchise that it had very modest beginnings. They did not make many of those for Super Nintendo, but since then the franchise blew up, basically on like every platform now in some form or another, and especially inspiring other games now like Stardew Valley, I believe.
Yeah.
And got widely ripped off on mobile, right? Like the first kind of Harvest game
Farmville.
wave with
right,
Farmville social games really took that concept. Unfortunately, the Harvest Moon guys missed that wave. Otherwise, they'd be printing money.
That's right.
That's a really, really good choice. And like that is one of those games that I always fondly remember for being so different from every other game. You know, like just
Totally different.
Just the simple tasks of like planting stuff. It's just so well done in that game.
It taught you time management skills. You had to like balance your social life, your business.
Yeah.
I like that. And just like really good sprite work, if I remember correctly. Like I really love like that era, the 90s for Super Nintendo games that look like that.
Yeah, good music too.
All right. So this may be a cheat, but I think before we get the Super Nintendo Classic, a Game Boy Classic would be cool. But I thought, why not combine the two? Put the Super Game Boy on there, have all 1,000 Game Boy games.
Okay, if we were pissed at the Jared Petty thing, that is a bold move.
I'll go with my real
How about a
one
meme
then.
cabinet?
All right, Donkey Kong Country 2. That's
Okay.
my
Yeah,
final
all
one.
right,
It's the before Tropical Freeze, I would say it was the pinnacle of the Donkey Kong series. It's the best one on Super Nintendo. I think one of the best platformers ever made. So I think it needs to be on.
So why do you like that one more than the first one?
You know, I think the first one is also a great game.
Yeah.
But the second one really ironed out some of the problems of the first one. Like there were some collision detection issues with the first one.
Yes.
Some level design issues. So they really just figured it all out. They added the collectability things, which was only something they toyed with in the first one. So it really made you explore these levels and really just take them all in and just added a lot more replayability to the game.
Silicon graphics, man. Well, that was one of the words. It was like CGI, really. Like it was the CG supercomputer.
I think Silicon Graphics, yeah.
No, you're right. Everything in that game was mocapped. Did you know that?
A guy in Donkey Kong suit.
No, it was a real
in a cap and gown, like did the whole thing.
Also Dixie, she was awesome.
I was gonna say, to bring that one up.
Were you a Donkey Kong Country fan? You like those games? No, you're okay on them.
I'm okay on them.
I'm the guy
I really like Tropical Freeze. I'm so glad someone finally came on the show and freaking dropped it right here. Said one of the best Donkey Kong Country games ever. Did you hear it?
That's not saying a lot, though. There's only a few of them.
Sam Planey. GameXplain is on my side.
All right, I'm with you. No, I actually replayed. I replayed Donkey Kong Country like 2 months ago, and I was like, you know what? This is a good game.
Yeah.
And I think I liked it in the 90s, and then there was like 10 years afterwards when I was like, Super Mario World has aged better than this game.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I played it with sort of a new, more mature lens.
And it's still true.
And it's
Super Mario World has aged better.
Absolutely.
That's such an amazing
Undebatably,
game.
I'm totally with you on that. But I think that Donkey Kong Country is a good game. And I think I'll probably play through the second one again. You kind of inspired me.
And there's something to be said for, even though Mario World has aged better, for like the Donkey Kong history with using CGI or SGI graphics or whatever.
Yep.
Like it looked amazing this time.
Yeah.
Like I remember people saying like they thought it was a 64, like they thought it was from Nintendo 64 at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they had the guts to come up with a very unique style too. If you remember the way the trees looked and everything, like it wasn't just that they were 3D, they looked different. They had this stylized like cartoon
there was depth to
look,
it. Yeah.
and they did a really
graphics.
nice job
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, for sure.
It was kind of like a Pixar movie.
In its time. You couldn't ignore when Donkey Kong Country came out. I felt like it was just the biggest thing ever because of how it looked. But I do agree with you guys. Yeah, it has not aged well, sadly, just as resolutions got higher.
I think we can all agree that Donkey Kong Country 3 is not a great game.
Yeah, we can agree on that.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know.
Baby Kong sucks.
All right, no debate. No debate on this program.
Podcast killer right now.
There it is. Wow.
Good night.
Drop the mic.
Shut it down.
Controllers.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
We got
All
quiet.
right, so hang on one second. I guess because we have a little bit of time, let's just go to the question block. This is a weekly, well, not weekly. It's a segment we bring back when I feel like it right now because,
Respect that.
yeah, respect. So hang on, where is this thing?
You got some chosen ones, or are you gonna do
No, I got
random?
some not. No, I don't. I have actually a few chosen ones, but I just saw an email that I'm really excited about, and I'm trying to not look at it because something I've been waiting for in the mail finally showed up. My computer's not.
It's a Hamilton hat with.
No, I already got one of those.
Yeah.
Well, you got something. You got something to say about Hamilton? You got a problem? Do we have a problem on this podcast? Only a few people can say that to their boss and keep their employment. By the way.
Well, you don't know what I'm texting to HR right now.
There goes my job. All right, so hang on. I'm just gonna bring it up on my phone where the reliability of the signal is fine.
Now I want
right.
to know about the secret email Jose got. What did he get? What's his present?
I ordered a Super Famicom themed 3DS from Japan.
Oh,
And it
yes.
says it was delivered 2 days ago, and I have been losing my mind. It's nowhere to be found. And it was expensive, and I ordered it a long time ago. Whoa. All right, so this is from good friend of the show, Charlie Gatson. I don't know why you send us really good questions, but you do, and we love you for it. New 3DS Mario bundle, worth it or not worth it? He says, hey, about a year and a half ago, I wrote in to ask what you thought about the smaller version of new 3DS and if it would arrive to U.S. shores. Many moons and many bundles later, I finally found one that has caught my eye. And yes, I am an ambassador. And yes, I am still using the OG 3DS. Considering we are on the eve of NX and probably a launch next year, is this upgrade even worth it for me, for someone in my shoes? The price of Mario new 3DS and discounted Nintendo Select titles is very alluring. Not to mention the portable's obvious hardware bump. What do you guys think? Worth it for someone like Charlie, who is a really big Nintendo fan who did not upgrade?
Charlie, if you never bought the Game Boy Micro and like you're sitting there now, are you thinking, man, I wish I had bought the Game Boy Micro because it's cool? Because you can't. I mean, you have to pay a lot of money for it right now. And I think with the 3DS, it may be a similar story where like there may not be that many more games coming, and maybe you've already played all the best ones. Mm-hmm. So it might just be worth it from I want this for the future and want to keep it. And this is the device I'll use to play the games again.
So Max Scoville, who works here at IGN, co-host Beyond and Up and Noon with me, saw this story, saw the pictures of the new bundle, and he was like, "This thing looks awesome. I really want to jump on this. Maybe I'll finally get a 3DS because his fiance has one and they share one." Yeah. And he was like, "But then again, with the NX, maybe I shouldn't." And I was like, "I don't think that the NX will replace the 3DS. I think it'll replace the Wii U.
It's a third pillar.
Yeah, it's a third pillar. Yeah, there. That old chestnut." I don't think
we're gonna knock down in a few weeks. No,
I think the
in a year when it doesn't.
I think the 3DS is gonna stand on its own for a while. And
What are your favorite 3DS games coming out next year?
Next year?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah,
I don't think I have favorite 3DS games coming out this year.
I don't think Max's fiance cares. Like, I
Yeah.
think this is more, consider who it's for, right?
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. So
Yeah.
this is somebody who hasn't played a lot of 3DS games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, if I got to think Charlie's played a bunch, if he has the OG, and knowing Charlie and knowing
Yeah,
that he
knowing
plays
Charlie,
games
he
all day
probably
long.
does.
So in that case, it's worth it. If you're new to 3DS, holy crap,
Yeah,
Jesus, don't even think
But if you've
twice
had
about
one
it.
already, I mean, I don't know what the main advantages are.
Better 3D.
Super Nintendo
if you care.
games.
Super Nintendo games.
That's a
if
couple
care.
things you can do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
quicker. It's snappier. Like
You're not
you-
waiting for 5 minutes for Smash Brothers to load.
Yeah.
The Super
yeah.
Nintendo games thing is actually a good note.
Yeah.
Is it-
I like.
It's kind of a depressing note to me, but
I'm always torn because I really want the new 3DS with the faceplates on it, and I have the XL, and like a bunch of times I've been like, I should just buy it and then trade in my XL and do the system transfer. But then if I do that, I have to buy a new case for it. I have to buy a new charging dock for it, and then I fall down the rabbit hole of buying all those shells for it, and it's tough. I don't know if I want to lose the screen real estate for that freedom of customization, but
Charging dock, huh?
yeah, I have a little charging dock in my
Plug in the
deck.
cable.
get the
Oh
accessory.
my God.
Even you can plug in the cable.
You know what's nice?
Yeah.
Just you take my 3DS and you just put it right on.
You know what?
Charging dock.
When the NX is out, you're gonna have so many problems with the clip-on controllers, getting them on there the right way. You just watch.
I don't think you understand. I save dozens of seconds a year.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I'm gonna turn to Andre. What do you think? At the end of the day, should he go or should he go for it or should he not?
I think it's worth it.
Okay.
Even like the upgrade in screen size from the original, I think is worth it, even if it's not as big as the XL.
Yep.
No, I mean there's tons of great games. I think they are enhanced by the new 3DS.
Yep.
I mean, unfortunately, with all my capture, like when I play games, I'm stuck on the original 3DS.
Right.
Because that's what the hardware I got for it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I hate, like, I'm done with that system. I want to move on. Like that screen's so small, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
So-
absolutely. Yeah, and the faceplates are great. In that bundle specifically, they put in the sort of. It was the yellow faceplate that I have in the Japanese one that you
Yeah,
saw that has
yeah.
a bunch of like different sprites for Mario Maker.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then the other one is like a special sort of Mario.
What are you
looking
playing
thing.
on?
Right now?
Yeah,
I'm
because I
playing
know
on
you're
a
Ghost in the Shell. You hop from.
Yeah, I hop from. I'm a crazy man.
Major Kusanagi.
Sometimes. Right now I'm on a new 3DS, a smaller one with faceplates. But the 3DS that just arrived in the mail is an XL, and I do miss the XL simply for, like, I have big hands, and like if I'm playing an action game on a new 3DS, it just isn't as comfortable. Not to say it's not playable, but just like, oh man, I gotta like really clench this thing. Versus if it's a larger 3DS, it's just way more comfortable.
I'm with you. I do too. I have both, and I'm using the larger one.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, next question comes from Chell, who the email was Golden Gyarados. So I was like, "What? That's the name? That's so." Anyway, longtime listener, first time writer. My spouse and I listen to the show together every week. So, question: what do you think will happen with Street Pass when NX is released, or from a longer term standpoint, when support for the 3DS family finally dies out? Which is kind of related to what we were just talking about. I'm thinking specifically of the Street Pass only games in the 3DS Plaza. I love the Street Pass Plaza games, and I bought everything from the sales bunny. When the NX takes over and people stop carrying their 3DSs around, what will happen? I know that I can use play coins to buy cats, dogs, whatever, what have you, but these visitors don't trigger special events within games. For instance, the Ultimate Angler game, only other people who have the game might alert you to the presence of a special fish on the island. Play coins purchased cats and dogs can't do that. That's a sentence I don't think I'll ever say outside of that. Anyway, this is a good question. What happens to this?
It's kind of like online where they turn off servers, right?
Yeah.
Like in a few years, no one's going to be playing on 3DS. You can't unlock those features. But you can just go and buy a second 3DS, right? Street Pass with himself. And
Oh, that's so sad.
I've seen people in Akihabara do that. I saw
man.
people at the Yodobashi camera in Tokyo near Akihabara doing that. And you just see, like, go from one 3DS to the other.
Yeah.
But they were street passing with everyone, but it was still like, oh, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think they're gone.
Yeah.
I think they're absolutely gone. Nintendo hasn't done any updates even to the puzzles, right? Like it's been.
That's a good one. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't done anything
Well-
in weeks, which means months, which means probably not that many people take them on the road anymore. Like I told you, when I travel, I get very few street passes.
Yeah.
Nowadays. I have that thing on in my bag all the time.
There is the problem, though, of the Street Pass was a major battery drain on 3DS, and if NX is a portable thing, you can't help but wonder what does that mean for the idea of Street Pass in the future, right? Like, do you shut that down just simply because you want to save more battery life and preserve someone's experience? I think it was really cool, especially when 3DSs were everywhere and you would Street Passing people. And what I didn't notice over time, and just recently I discovered, was you could actually shorten. One of the updates lets you shorten what people would say to you when they come in. So you could just make it to, all right, just give me the puzzle piece, keep it moving, like something like that. Not so much that specifically, but just don't tell me your name, don't tell me what game you're playing, just keep it moving.
You're just currency. I don't care about you.
You could basically belittle someone to that point.
I think that's kind of part of the problem, though. Like, once the novelty wore off, it turned into a chore. From when you go through the process every time. Even speeding it up, it still took forever. So if it comes back, I think it'd be drastically different than how it is now.
I think Nintendo likes that concept, and I think they will bring it back with NX if NX is indeed a true portable that you take with you everywhere. And because I think, first of all, they have learned a lot about low power modes and how to pull something like that off in a device without it draining batteries so much. And I just think they like it. And then look at the success of Pokemon Go, games where, you do get a kick out of seeing when somebody else dropped a lure, for example. Like this kind of like real world application, I think still nice for portable
trading
device.
data for some games was really cool, right? Where you'd find out, like you can pull, I could pull Andre into like a Bravely Default, for example, as a character and have him help me. Or in other applications, there was just specific data that Animal Crossing, the whole shopping catalog was amazing. Like that was such a good idea in New Leaf.
Yeah, and like an Animal Crossing game where you walk around and trade items with others and get items would be a killer app, I think. I think that... And it's so Nintendo to do that. Like Sony tried to rip it off with Nier, right? And like Nier to this date, I don't know what the little footsteps do, right? Like it was a confusing mess. Whereas Nintendo like had a very, very clear approach to it, and I think they're gonna keep doing it. But I don't think they're gonna port over the old games. They're just gonna dump them.
I agree.
It's gonna be stuck on your old machine forever.
That and Miiverse. I would love if Miiverse comes over, and it will. I think it would. Just speed it up, man. Like Miiverse, the experience is painful simply because it takes so long. I'm someone who loves to screenshot and document an experience with a game. Like
but it's not fun on the Wii.
Yeah, on PS4 I do it all the time, and it's just that simple tap of the share button. It's a pain to upload that to Facebook or to Twitter through the app. Because you have to like press and hold, and then you there's a delay, and it'll rip you out of certain parts of the game. But I really like doing that. I like sort of preserving certain moments, because to me, those are more special than sharing them on a stream.
Yeah, and it's also like, I don't know, it's been kind of cumbersome on 3DS, but I do like the way PS4 does it to an extent. I'd love to see them take that idea and bring it over, because there's a lot of really fun, cool moments that happen in Nintendo games, and you want to share those things,
Like Wind Waker did a great job with its bottles you get playing around.
And Mitsumo is built around sharing too, right? Like, so it sounds like something Nintendo would pursue too. Well, we'll see.
Cool.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, games like Splatoon have like a plaza built in where you meet other players and you can like copy their setups and stuff. So they have pulled off that sort of meeting stuff without a physical connection.
Actually, I have a lot of like 3DS themes and badges that I've got through that store. Like, I'd love to see those come over.
Into Badge Center? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I got hooked this weekend.
Oh, really?
Time, yeah.
So it catches me in waves, right? Where I'll go in, and if there's like a set of things that I'm into, like they did like a Mega Man set I was cool with, and they did like this classic Mario set, a lot of the old 8-bit sprite stuff. I'll go in there. If there's if there's a deal for 10 plays for $1.99 and you get a free theme out of it, I'm like, yeah, I'll chuck you $2. That's nothing. Yeah. Like I spend $4 on coffee every time I walk outside. So I don't know if any of that stuff's going to carry over, or if it's just enjoy it while you had it type of thing.
I think it's all gone.
I think so too.
I think it's all gone.
Yeah, but and I'm okay with that.
Redo all those assets for a higher resolution screen.
Yep.
Fair.
Yeah. I'm weirdly okay with it. I mean, that's the thing about buying digital content, or buying anything really. Like, you enjoy it while you have it.
Like, all the great high scores I got on my Fairchild Channel F don't work on my new consoles either.
Oh, no, not that with a Fairchild.
Not the Fairchild. All right, and with that, we are done. Thank you so much for listening to Nintendo Voice Chat. We're a weekly show on IGN. You know the spiel. Send us feedback, nbc@ign.com. Andre, tell the folks where they can find you. Plug it all.
All right. Well, just GameXplain. Type that into Google. It'll take you there. We primarily run the YouTube channel. We also have a website, which we don't really update anymore. But Facebook, Twitter, just all GameXplain. Post all kinds of videos, analysis videos, as you mentioned earlier.
And how many people are you guys?
We are primarily 3, but then there are some of the people that help out on the side.
Nice.
So,
very cool. Okay, and you can also get new episodes of Real Talk when in the week?
Every Friday, or if you're a Patreon backer, every Friday, every Monday otherwise.
Okay,
awesome.
Got it. Cool. All right, well, you can find us all on Twitter. You can find Per Schneider at
Per IGN.
You can find Brian Altano at
Agent Bizzle.
You can find Andre Segers at
Andre Segers.
And you can find myself, Jose _Otero. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week with more Nintendo Wish Chat.
Get the thing.